Electric Doily, written by Dick Ainsworth. This is a video art program released by Bally Manufacturing in 1978. It was released with Bally BASIC, and it also was included on a sampler program, or a program sampler that was the only tape ever released by Bally that contained basic programs. It also happens to be one of the first tapes with Bally, or with any basic software ever released. It came out approximately at the same time as Microsoft BASIC did in about January or so of 1978. The version of the tape runs from a menu of 5 different programs, and it has changing colors and sound. The printed version on page 118 of the Bally BASIC manual is black and white only and doesn't have any sound effects, so I chose not to use that version for this demonstration. I ran the program 10 different times for various amounts of time. I'll get into more of that a little bit later. I only ran the program once in Bally BASIC. I took the time to convert this program to AstroBASIC, although I don't think I'll be uploading it to ballyalley.com because I think it has a problem of some sort, the conversion anyway. This program is for the Bally Arcade, also known as the Astrocade. This is the Bally BASIC cartridge that fits inside the Astrocade that lets you run the program. This would have been the program you would have run originally in 1978. I've talked about this BASIC a few times, so I'm not going to concentrate too much energy here. This is the cover of the BASIC manual, and as I mentioned earlier, it is on page 118, and it looks like this. I'm going to show a printout of this program a little bit later, and several versions. One that's a printout from the actual tape, and one that's a printout that is included on the paperwork that's included with the tape. And this is by far the shortest version of it because it is not part of a menu-driven system that includes other programs, which I'm not going to get into here. As I said, this program does also run under AstroBASIC. You can load it up yourself and convert it using the 300 baud conversion process that's described in this very manual here, the AstroBASIC manual. Here's a picture of the 300 baud tape sampler. It was included with the Bally BASIC 300 baud interface. Here's a picture of the two pieces of hardware and software together. I took a close-up of the front cover of the instructions that are included with the 300 baud interface, and they look like this. I like that this picture includes a tape recorder that's actually bigger than the telephone. Here is a high quality scan of the basic tape. This is the front side. It includes 5 different programs. Electronic Doily is the only piece of video art on here. The back side includes a simple lunar lander game, a gravity game, and Newtona 500, which is almost like video art. I don't really understand how it works too well. This is a neat sampler, and it's a great way to get introduced to how these programs work and run under Bally BASIC. So the documentation that comes with the tape and the 300 baud interface includes a little bit about each of the programs that are on it. And so they're really brief words, but this is what they say for each. And also in blue text is this the printout of both the programs, the one on the front side and the one on the back side. This is the front of the program sampler. You can see the 2 menus, the side A menu and the side B menu. These are the instructions for Electronic Doily. They say simply, this program places a random square on the screen and reflects it 8 times to create a symmetrical pattern. In order to run the program, you select program number 1. A continuous pattern is generated with musical notes, and a 0 returns to the menu. So how I demonstrate this program is I run the program once from the menu from 300 baud Bally BASIC, and that is how the program is supposed to sound. It sounds a little different when run under AstroBASIC, and I do run it under AstroBASIC several times. So the first time I run it under Bally BASIC is for about 2.5 minutes. Then I run it approximately 5 times for 1 minute each under Bally BASIC, about 3 times for 2 minutes, and these are the patterns that I think are my favorite after about 2 minutes. And then I run it twice for 3 minutes each. I also ran the program once under Bally BASIC for 20 minutes, but it's not worth doing for longer than I'd say 3 minutes or 4 minutes, because the picture, while it still keeps getting updated and redrawn and it'll go on and on forever, it doesn't become very interesting anymore, and it's just a load of, looks like a crashed program, basically. So this is how the program recorder hooks up to the Bally, but that's not why I'm showing this page here. This is what I think is very specific and interesting about Bally BASIC and any BASIC in general, but this is encouraging changing the programs that are included. And it says, Program modification. You can easily change, correct, or modify a program after it has been loaded. To see a complete listing on your TV, just enter :list. For a partial listing, or to see a particular instruction, enter :list and the line number. So that's not actually accurate. If you do :list and a line number, it just lists from that line to the end of the program. So if you want to see, say, 3 line numbers, you would say :list, 3, and that would show 3 line numbers. If you press :list and then halt the listing, whatever it is listed so far is where the program will stop listing the program. To change an instruction, enter the line number and the new instruction, this is the bad part about Bally BASIC. You can't edit a line. You have to retype the whole thing. Luckily in AstroBASIC, they fixed that. And if you want to change line 50, you type in line 50, like just the 50, and would make your changes to the program and then continue. This is the very small and hard to read basic listing. It's printed in blue, so if you tried to photocopy it, you wouldn't be able to use it. Although I don't know why they did this, because it made it harder to use and harder to read. But also, if you had the Bally BASIC, you had this. If you had the 300 baud interface. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. In order to make it easier to read and to see here, I've actually converted it to grayscale. This is the grayscale version of it, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can get a better idea of what this looks like. This is the Bally BASIC Program Sampler menu for side A, and as you can see, program number 1 here is Electric Doily, and the other programs I've actually tried separately, but they're not going to be in this video, and I doubt if I'll ever make videos of these. They're simple, and they don't actually work on, well, some of them will work under AstroBASIC fine, but like monthly records requires the 300 baud interface for the way it saves. Electronic music sounds a little different under AstroBASIC. Here's the thing that's interesting to me and why I'm not going to digitally archive this Bally BASIC sampler for AstroBASIC, because one of the times I ran it for an extended period of time, I think when I ran it for about 3 minutes, when I exited the program by pressing 0 and I went back to the menu, I got this error message. And this is telling me that there's some kind of syntax error on line 155, but it's always running line 155, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not going to investigate it either. The program seems to run without errors at all under Bally BASIC, but then again, I also didn't run it as many times as I did under AstroBASIC. So here's the first screenshot from the program, and I took about 260 different screenshots trying to find ones that I found interesting. I found, I think, 28 altogether that I'm going to include here. This is the end of my overview of the program, so enjoy the rest of the video. It's some of the video is more interesting than others. Remember, this is a randomly generated program. Sometimes you get neat output, sometimes you don't. In this case, I think the best way to see the program is to watch the versions that run for about 2 minutes each. They make the most interesting patterns. If you run it for less time, you don't get really a complete pattern. And when I run it for like 3 minutes, I guess 3 minutes isn't too bad either. That works pretty nicely. But if you run it for longer than 3 minutes, the program or the screen just fills up with kind of, looks like garbage, but it is the program running properly. You will notice the first time the program runs here for about 2.5 minutes, it's running a little slower than the rest. So that's because Bally BASIC runs slower, and it runs about 20%, or about AstroBASIC runs about 20% faster than Bally BASIC. And I think this makes a difference with the sound. It certainly makes the program run a lot faster under AstroBASIC, but I prefer the program running under Bally BASIC, and I didn't really notice the difference until after I started making this video. So if you ever do get a chance to try this video live on a real Astrocade, try running the 300 baud version of it. It was meant to run under that in the first place, so it makes sense that it works better. Enjoy the video art here, and I'll be back with some more a week or two. And the next one I think I'll be doing is going to be a video art called Perspective Box by Ricky Spice. He wrote a couple of cartridges for the Astrocade, and that one's really simple. That video will be about 3 minutes at the most. After that, I will be doing a compilation of 3 different programs. They're called Scroll 1, 2, and 3. And those 3 programs are in the Bally BASIC manual, and they are by Larry Cuba. Enjoy the rest of these screen captures, and I hope you enjoy watching this video art that's being created on the Astrocade.